Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. All things have a frequency and a vibration. My method is different. I do not rush into actual work. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Of all things, I liked books best. Our virtues and our failings are inseparable, like force and matter. When they separate, man is no more. I soon discovered that my best comfort was attained if I simply went on in my vision farther and farther, getting new impressions all the time, and so I began to travel, of course, in my mind. Soon I became aware, to my surprise, that every thought I conceived was suggested by an external impression. The carrying out into practice of a crude idea, as is being generally done, is, I hold, nothing but a waste of energy, money, and time. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. The beauty and the scent of roses can be used as a medicine and the sun rays as a food. To know each other we must reach beyond the sphere of our sense perceptions. When I get an idea I start at once building it up in my imagination. I change the construction, make improvements and operate the device in my mind. The harness of waterfalls is the most economical method known for drawing energy from the sun. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. Our senses enable us to perceive only a minute portion of the outside world. Every effort under compulsion demands a sacrifice of energy. I never paid such a price. It will soon be possible to transmit wireless messages around the world so simply that any individual can carry and operate his own apparatus. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. The incessant mental exertion developed my powers of observation and enabled me to discover a truth of great importance. From my childhood I had been intended for the clergy. This prospect hung like a dark cloud on my mind. As in nature, all is ebb and tide, all is wave motion, so it seems that in all branches of industry, alternating currents, electric wave motion, will have the sway. The feeling is constantly growing on me that I had been the first to hear the greeting of one planet to another. Of all the frictional resistances, the one that most retards human movement is ignorance. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment. There is no memory or retentive faculty based on lasting impression. What we designate as memory is but increased responsiveness to repeated stimuli. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength and inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists. The desire that guides me in all I do is the desire to harness the forces of nature to the service of mankind. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. I was about 12 years old when I first succeeded in banishing an image from my vision by willful effort, but I never had any control over the flashes of light to which I have referred. They were, perhaps, my strangest experience and inexplicable. Antisocial behavior is a trait of intelligence in a world full of conformists. The earth is bountiful, and where her bounty fails, nitrogen drawn from the air will refertilize her womb. I developed a process for this purpose in 1900. It was perfected 14 years later under the stress of war by German chemists. As I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle are the influences that shape our destinies. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factors. A new idea must not be judged by its immediate results. Our entire biological system, the brain, and the earth itself, work on the same frequencies. The spread of civilization may be likened to a fire, first, a feeble spark, next a flickering flame, then a mighty blaze, ever increasing in speed and power. We all make mistakes, and it is better to make them before we begin. Each day we go to our work in the hope of discovering. We crave for new sensations but soon become indifferent to them. The wonders of yesterday are today common occurrences. I could only achieve success in my life through self-discipline, and I applied it until my wish and my will became one. We are all one. Only egos, beliefs, and fears separate us. In the 21st century, the robot will take the place which slave labor occupied in ancient civilization. Inventors don't have time for married life. The idea came like a flash of lightning, and in an instant the truth was revealed. The progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention. Interested people have often asked me how and when I began to invent. It's not the love you make. It's the love you give. The day when we shall know exactly what electricity is, will chronicle an event probably greater, more important than any other recorded in the history of the human race. The time will come when the comfort, the very existence, perhaps, of man will depend upon that wonderful agent. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success. Such emotions make a man forget food, sleep, friends, love, everything. Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery of mind over the material world, the harnessing of human nature to human needs. We build to tear down. Most of our work and resource is squandered. Our onward march is marked by devastation. Everywhere there is an appalling loss of time, effort, and life. A cheerless view, but true. One of the great events in my life was my first meeting with Edison. This wonderful man, who had received no scientific training, yet had accomplished so much, filled me with amazement. I felt that the time I had spent studying languages, literature, and art was wasted, though later, of course, I learned this was not so. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. Originality thrives in seclusion, free of outside influences beating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born. Mutual understanding will be infinitely easier by the use of one universal language. Insufficient observation is only a form of unknowing, a cause of many perverse incidents and a triumph of crazy ideas. If you don't know how, observe the phenomena of nature, they will give you clear answers and inspiration. The practical success of an idea, irrespective of inherent possibilities, depends on the attitude of contemporaries. A man is born to work, to suffer and to fight. He who doesn't, must perish. Science and inventions are strong forces which will lead to its termination. Our first strivings are exclusively the instinctive stimulus of lively imagination and non-discipline. Whatever we try to do in any area, we must submit it to our efforts, because we depend on the force. Practical transfer of energy without wires has an extraordinary importance for man. Restraint has not always been according to my taste, but my pleasurable experiences are a huge reward.